Okay, don't know if you saw what Dan Campbell had to say post game in the locker room after they beat Green Bay. It's pretty cool, first of all, that you get to be in there. That's something that started a couple of years ago, but especially with Dan Campbell, the regime, that all access. Shout out to the social media team and the media team of Detroit all season long. Outstanding work and really get us behind the curtain. It's awesome to see. So, thing about Dan Campbell, he said a lot in his first 2 years, but the thing is, he doesn't just say things to say them. He says things that we have to kind of think, all right, what's he talking about? What's he mean? Because remember, he said, and I'll get to what he said in here just a second in the locker room post game. He said when we were losing, he was like, "We're close. We're right there. We're right there. We're gonna get this turned around. We're right there." It's like, yeah, right, man. It's like, well, he wasn't kidding. We were close. He said different things that he's not kidding when he says something. So now we have to kind of pay attention. Wait, whoa, what'd you say? What'd you say? So post game, he comes out. He says in the locker room, says, "Hey, you earned your respect today, man. I couldn't be more proud. These coaches couldn't be more proud. Guys, you understand that this is a special group. This is a special group. And by the way, this is just the beginning," which I think we all kind of agree, and that's why we're so excited. He says it again. This is just the beginning, because now the idea down the road will be all roads go through Detroit. And there's a couple of things he could mean by that. It just sounds cool. But also in a practical sense, what he means or could mean, all roads all roads go through Detroit, could mean next year we're shooting for the playoffs. We're shooting to win the division, home playoff game, and we're shooting for the number 1 seed, where you have to come through Detroit. Can you imagine a playoff game next year? And that's going to be really the hype for the all next year leading up to next year is why let's go win the division. We were 5-1 in the division. We lost that one game on the road to the Vikings, swept the Bears, swept the Packers, 5-1 in the division. So you can win the division, just get one home playoff game. Can you imagine in Detroit what that would be like? So Dan Campbell, what I've learned from him is he's not just saying things to say them. In some ways he kind of is, but for the most part, the guy's like just being real. And I think he truly believes this is just the beginning. Guys believe, and it's time. So this was the final piece to really the turnaround that we had to see. And here's the two things that I noticed in the game against Green Bay that showed turnaround. This is why we believe. This is why this is just the beginning. There was 2 flags. The long touchdown, Jameson Williams, flea flicker, let's go, comes back. I mean, it's just like, oh, you got to be kidding me. Interception, huge interception. Illegal hands of the face, flag. I mean, that's 2 big plays called back by penalties that, yes, they were penalties, but it just seems like that's the stuff in Green Bay. It's going to get called. Let's keep Aaron Rodgers on the field, whatever. We overcome that. And then the next thing is, I think our defense especially, and our whole team, but our defense, it's less of, all right, who's going to mess up and allow a big play or who's going to blow their coverage. It's who's going to make a big play to get us off the field. And it's true. I mean, Aaron Glenn talked about it in Hard Knocks. We have to believe that you're going to win. When Hutchinson was at Michigan, when, all these guys were at their schools in college, they just believed they were going to win. And that's how you have to get that mindset in the NFL. And there's teams that have that, where it's like, we'll find a way to win. We'll find a way to get a stop. And the more that we do that, especially in Green Bay, stopping Aaron Rodgers, trying to go to the playoffs, it's just, you build that up. So now next year we expect to win. We're just, and I feel it as a fan. We feel it as fans where it's like, oh man, I expect something to go wrong. Something's going to go wrong. And now we got to keep building on it. But if it starts snowballing early next year, then yes, all roads will go through Detroit for playoffs. I mean, obviously we're talking way ahead here, and I get that, but it's just, he leaves us, he's a master motivator, leaves a little something out there. So I just thought that was so cool. And then a couple other things that he talked about. I'm just telling you. I've been around as a player, as a coach in this league, and I'm telling you, the best owner She gave us everything we could possibly need, every resource. She thinks about you guys all the time. She knows everything about you. She's rock solid. She's as good as they come. She's a good person. She's competitive, and she loves to win. So Dan Campbell just reminds the guys, last game of the year, Sheila's in there. We got a great owner, and I think we all, as Lions fans, have been so scarred by ownership and not sure what to think, not transparent. Who are we doing? What direction are we going? What are we doing? And remember, Sheila was the one that fired Patricia middle of the season. It was like their best move ever. Just send a statement, get this guy out of here. Then she brings in Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell. It's like, all right. And obviously that's looking good. What if she is a good owner? I mean, seriously, what if she's a good owner and you got Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, got the core, young cores going, and the Lions, you just turn on the TV on Sunday and you've got a chance to win every single week. It's not, I mean, how many weeks was it just you're not going to win? You're fighting from behind. You make one mistake or there's one bad call and it's just like, oh, Lions get screwed again. It's like, well, we're not good. We're not good. And so, yeah, it does look like we're getting screwed every game because all it takes is one bad call to go against us and we're out of the game. Now we're going to be in games. We've got a great core, leadership, ownership looks to be in place, right? I mean, you can't deny what you just saw this last 10 weeks of the season. You just can't deny it. On the road, at the Giants, at the Jets, Green Bay, blowing out the Jaguars playoff team, blowing out Minnesota, blowing out a Bears team that's terrible. Well, then we blew them out. That's what we're supposed to do to bad team. And there's not a lot of bad NFL teams that it's usually hard and you find a way to win against a bad team. Just blew out the Bears. So you can't deny what we saw, and you can't deny what Dan Campbell's saying about we got the best owner, and can't wait to see what happens next year. All roads go through Detroit. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know. So let me know in the comments your thoughts as we wrap up the season. Craig and I will start to look at free agents, who we should be bringing back of our potential free agents, who we should let walk. Potential free agents that would really fit us, because we know Brad Holmes, the last thing he's going to do is go get those top 1, 2, 3, or 5 free agents that are out there. It's going to be guys a couple days into the free agent period. And then, of course, we'll really look at the draft as we have 4 picks in the top 2 rounds. So let me know in the comments your thoughts on what we should do, free agency, draft, just the direction of the team. Dan Campbell, everything's looking up. It was a huge win. We all knew it was looking up, but it just really stamped it, getting the win at Green Bay, sending Aaron Rodgers packing. We'll see all of you on the next one.